An ancient curse took my daughter, I'm taking her back. Part 1. A story by user postmortem 33. I woke up to the sound of wood burning. Sparks were jumping inside the fireplace, while the flames consumed each small log. Each one pulsated a bright red hue, as if it was a beating heart with charred edges. The whole room was spinning, and an immense pain was circling my head. The throbbing pain was growing, and my temples felt like someone hammered nails into them. Atop of the fire, a pot laid suspended and food was cooking inside. The smell invaded my nostrils and my stomach started to growl. It instantly made me hungry. I couldn't remember anything, not who I was or what I did before waking up. I had no recollection of any prior events prior to this slumber. I tried to blink rapidly in hopes my senses would come back faster. I felt my head lying on something soft that was soaked with a warm liquid. I touched the back of my head and the pain felt 1,000 times more acute. The crimson liquid stained my fingers. I played with it a bit and then smelled it. It was blood. I instantly realized that there was an injury. It was either someone tried to crack my skull open or I had some sort of accident and injured myself. Something started vibrating on the table. My headache instantly worsened, but at least the room wasn't spinning anymore. I looked around for a mirror and saw one on the left side wall. I wanted to remember how I looked. Seeing myself in that mirror, tired and weary, still didn't bring back any memory whatsoever. Before I could answer, it stopped ringing. I looked at the screen. 85 missed calls and 15 new messages. They were all from someone named Anna. I went back to the home screen and I saw myself together with a woman and a little girl. We were all smiling. I looked a few years younger than the face I saw in the mirror. Were they my family? It sure seemed like it. The photo radiated with love and happiness. I called her right back. "Hello?" I said, not knowing what to expect. "Oh my God, Christian, I was worried sick, I thought you were dead," she said, crying from the moment she answered the call. I noticed the wedding ring on my finger. "Who are you? I'm sorry, but I've been in some sort of accident and can't remember anything," I cried, panting. I assumed she may have been my wife, but still I needed to know for sure. "Hey, what happened, Chris? Are you all right? I am your wife, Anna. You left 3 days ago with Maria, our daughter. Can I talk to her? Is she okay?" she told me. Yet, nothing came back. My mind was in constant darkness. The more I tried to remember, the more I sank in that endless abyss that bloomed in my brain. "Anna, I can't remember anything. It seems like I am in a very old shack. I am alone here. I don't know what's going on. I only know that I have a head injury," I told her, sighing. She started screaming and crying. Her high-pitched screams pierced my soul and her pain was clawing at the veil that fell on it. Something changed in me. Even though I had no recollection of my previous life before this accident, I knew she was telling me the truth. Maybe it was the dad senses that kicked in. "Anna, I will do anything to find her. Anything. Please." I hadn't had a chance to finish what I was about to say. The call disconnected and the phone turned off. It was out of battery. I looked around to see if I could find anything helpful. There was an old dirty switch on the wall. I turned on the lights and in the corner of the room was a gray backpack. It was dirty and stained with blood. Good thing this place had electricity. I thought the backpack was mine. I mean, there was too much of a coincidence. I opened it up and found a selfie stick, a thin blanket, food, and a power bank. My heart began racing when I saw the power bank. I instantly connected the phone and it started charging. Now, I needed to look for sockets. If the power bank died at some point, I needed to recharge it. I turned the mobile data off as soon as the phone came back to life. I tried calling Anna again, but to no avail. I wrote her a message, reassuring her that I'd do everything to find our daughter, hit send for whenever the reception came back on. I heard someone coughing outside. A woman. Her footsteps were slowly approaching the shack. Or was it a cabin? The door slowly opened and I stood watching. An old woman with ragged clothes and white hair entered the room. Her eyes were missing all color from them. She looked like she was blind or like having a very rare eye disease. "Ah, young man. Now, don't be scared. I know what you're thinking. Can she see with those eyes? Well, yes, I can. I am not blind. Even if I am old, I am wise. These eyes have seen a lot of things, both good and evil, in my life. My name is Mother Medea. I am a witch, she said. Her voice didn't match her age, though. Nor was it a trembling voice. She was very articulate and she seemed very calm. A witch? Where am I? What is all this? I demanded, raising the tone of my voice. Don't yell, my hearing wasn't what it used to be, young man. I saved you after all. From the things in the woods. Yes, I did. Now, there's a nice turkey stew on the fire. I suggest you eat and I'll tell you all about what happened, she replied in a way that made me feel like she was a good person. I can't remember anything since before I woke up. Not a single thing. I spoke with my wife on the phone. I know she is my wife and I know we have a daughter. Deep in my heart I know that. But I can't remember anything else, I added. She told me that she couldn't get to my daughter in time. The creatures of the woods were fast and vicious. I gasped and tears started forming in my eyes, as if I knew that something terrible happened. Mother Medea gave me something to drink. She told me that the potion would help me remember everything. I drank it right away, its bitter taste making me instantly retch. I choked and started coughing. Mashed snails, thyme, chicken blood and crushed coal. And dirt from the grave of a freshly deceased person. Drink it all up, young man, she said while giving me a bowl of turkey stew. I instantly froze. Fear climbed up my spine one vertebrae at a time. Then in a flash of a second I remembered everything. We went on a hike, then a storm came and we looked for shelter. Maria and I. We ventured deeper into the woods until we got lost. Suddenly, we were surrounded by evil creatures made out of a deep, dense smoke. They surrounded us and just started laughing. One of them took a rock and threw it at me. It hit me right in the back of the head, exactly where I had the injury. Before falling to black, I remember my daughter crying while those beasts took her away and into the darkened woods. Then I remembered coming back to it for a few seconds and I felt like someone was dragging me. Mother Medea. Thank you for everything, Mother. But I need to go back there and look for my daughter. Those ravenous beasts have her, I told her. Eat your stew first, Christian. Your daughter is safe, at least for now. I will help you bring her back. Let me quickly tell you about this place first. The village of Amora, she said. I wanted to ask her how she knew my name, but didn't. She took me outside and I saw that her shack was the only one in the vicinity. She pointed over a small hill in front of us and told me that the village was there. I walked with her. She continued on saying that an ancient curse befell that village. A creature so powerful was to blame for this. A creature that lived in the crooked castle. It was still young, probably the youngest of the bloodline, and once it awakened all hell would break loose. I saw the village was empty. Dead animals were laying around and people hid under their houses. They were hoping the curse would not affect them, so the decision was made for them to move underground. A curse had already struck them. The one of fear that sent them to live in a darkness only briefly illuminated by dim candle lights. Mother Medea told me that the woods were corrupted the moment that creature came to life. Even if it was still dormant, it had powers never before seen or heard of. A woman's hand grabbed my ankle from somewhere under one of the houses. Please, sir. You have to help us. We can't live like this. We are but slaves to this present darkness. It looms over our village and it infiltrates our souls, rooting and nesting inside. The curse, the pestilence will devour us whole with its ravenous sharp teeth, she cried. I jumped and she retreated her hand back to the darkness below. The sight of this village was sickening to look at. The houses looked like tombs, the retching smell was floating in the air. It looked like an omen of death approaching fast. This settlement and these people were on the edge of a precipice. We can't help them right now. But you can if you embark on a journey across the Wailing Woods and to the Crooked Castle, she said, taking my hand. I went back with her to the shack. I asked her what those places were and why they were called that. She told me that the woods bear that name because of the creatures that inhabit them. What I saw and experienced, those very beasts that kidnapped my daughter were but a tiny part of what truly lives inside. The most dangerous creatures were called the Grievers. They were the lost souls of those who died violent deaths and they were trapped forever in the woods. If one encounters them, one should give them a gift for safe passing. If not, they would cry until one would go insane. It was almost impossible not to meet them. They always sensed new blood and flesh in those woods. The Crooked Castle, that is a dangerous place. Very dangerous, indeed. You have to be careful when you reach it. If he awakens, you'll have to fight him to the death, Mother Medea told me. My daughter was taken there, wasn't she? I said, my heart racing. Yes, she was. You have to get her out before he awakens. Emil will be hungry for blood. Enraged with madness and hunger. You'd stand no match against him in your current state. Luckily, I will help you, I will enhance you, she said, grinning wide. She said that what she'd do would not necessarily make me victorious in this fight. She certainly hoped so, though. I entered the shack and she went straight to the bed I'd slept in. From under it, she pulled a long and thin metal box of sorts. Silver in color, it looked very old. A thick layer of dust had settled on it. She cleaned it with a wet rag and dragged it on the floor. Well, help an old woman out, will you? She said. I took the metal box and placed it on the table. It was quite heavy. I heard a very low rumbling coming from inside. I opened it and I froze. A large crimson sword stood in front of me. It was enveloped by a red pulsing hue like an electric current. The sword looked majestic. The crimson paint on it slowly started moving. It looked like it came to life the moment I opened the box. Quite beautiful, isn't she? Furia is her name. It was my husband's most prized weapon. Now his spirit is inside. I put it there after he died 250 years ago after being critically injured in battle. He fought Emil's father and killed him, she said. My whole heart sank. What? How old are you, Mother? I asked, a large lump forming in my throat. I can't even remember, my dear boy. Centuries have passed since I was your age, she answered, smiling bitterly. She forcefully took my hand and slapped it on the crimson sword. Shock and horror befell my heart. I felt like something was creeping inside me. It used my soul as a bridge. At least that's how it seemed. My whole arm was enveloped in the same red light as the sword. I became one with it. A bond, a symbiosis was formed between me and Furia. Hello, young man. Sorry for the intrusion. Name's Victor. Feels very strange being in a body other than my own. I too have slept centuries. Just like our archenemy is right now, the voice inside me said. I screamed in fear. This wasn't right. Every inch of this new me felt wrong. Two spirits were living inside one body now. My vision looked like it had flames in it. Everything looked clearer than before. The mighty sword Furia poured all its might inside me. My God, Victor, how much I've missed you. Even if you're here just in spirit, it feels great, she said, tears forming in her eyes. I heard myself speaking, but without my will. My voice was different. I missed you too, Medea. You look as beautiful as last time I saw you, Victor said, and I felt like my spirit was pushed back to the back of my mind. It felt horrible having another spirit inside me. Fear punctured my soul. But flashbacks of when those creatures attacked me and took my daughter came to mind. If anything could help me find Maria again, this was it. Medea, Victor, and this mighty sword. Night was approaching with fast steps and time was of the essence. It's always been best to travel at night. I stood before the Wailing Woods. It sent chills down my spine just by looking at it. Somewhere in the distance, I heard people crying. Mother Medea wished me luck and told me I could meet many creatures in the woods. It was up to me to decide which ones were good and which were evil. She wished us luck. I carried Victor inside and Furia in my arms. My eyes were two bright red flames and my arms were fueled by the sword's power. My heart was in my throat and fear was at an all-time high in my mind. Nevertheless, I entered the blackness of the Wailing Woods.
That is the first part of this story. Who are these grievers? What are they doing with Maria? What are the things await in the Wailing Woods? To get the update once the next part is released, share and subscribe to this channel and turn on the notification bell so you won't miss the updates from us. And also, like and share this video, and comment down below on what do you think happened to Maria while she is in the hands of the grievers. Thank you for all your support for the Double Dutchman. We'll see you in our next episode.